funding comes for instrument, but they don't get funds for maintenance. So their projects are held up because the machines are down. So we extend our facility to the research institute. If you have the reagents, you can come to our lab and do your research. So I feel as an entrepreneur, you continuously you should be in hunt of not product or sales. You should be in hunt of challenges which are there at the customer. So every challenge gives you a new opportunity, and that new opportunity, rather than working on an idea which just comes out of mind, अचानक से कुछ सोच लिया कि आज अच्छा ये करना है, उससे अच्छा I feel it is better to move around, talk to people, understand what are the challenges, and if you are able to address one challenge, you can create one industry. Okay, so examples are like your Ola, Uber. They came with that. You always said कि यार ऑटो वाला रुकता ही नहीं है. They developed an app. अब रुकना पड़ता है, कहीं से भी आता है. So they don't have their own vehicles. They just develop an app which facilitated things. So they identified a problem, gave a solution. So the current industry is that to identify problems. See, I may love something, but suppose if I want to, I am very much interested in doing drug discovery. But whether drug discovery has that much of scope in India, or whether I would be able to fund my business for drug discovery. So if it is a 15 years trial, if it is going to ask for multi-million dollar investment, whether I am able to do. If I am not able to do, although I like it, although it is my interest, I have to give it up. So one thing is you take a lot of risk when you get into entrepreneurship, but at the same time, the risk has to be calculated, and you need to, if you want to minimize the risk, the better option is to identify a challenge and build up your industry to provide a solution to that challenge. Okay, so what we do in brief, I told you we do trading, we provide instruments, reagents, we do research services, we do trainings, and we have been recognized for this work. So I will not navigate mostly through the slides because I can share this presentation with you. This is something which is available on net, and you are not in that era where we were. At least you are in an era of internet where everything is available at a click. So this information would be available. So I would request as I am going through, you can put up your hands if you have doubts, ask. Make it more interactive. Don't feel that somebody with a lot of experience has come and is taking a lecture. I am not a lecturer. I am still a student. I still keep on learning. I am still curious to understand what things are happening. And I am always looking out for challenges. I don't go in market to look out for opportunity. I always identify a challenge, convert it into an opportunity. So I feel that's the way an entrepreneurial thought process should be. So by definition, it is developing, organizing a business where you generate profits by taking a financial risk. Then when you talk about entrepreneurship, it is not that the entrepreneurship are big business like Reliance and Tata. They are not the only entrepreneurs. Okay, entrepreneurs can be small businesses, like from the pharmacy side. If you look from starting a medical store, or a chain of medical store, or a distribution business. Or if you talk about a surgical business, so these are also small businesses which are entrepreneurship only. But nowadays, if you go by the traditional way, I start my shop and try to look for entrepreneurship, so that is currently not helping. You have to look out for different ways of reaching out to market. Now every organization is active on social media. They want to be present online, and e-commerce is one area where everybody needs to focus. Whichever entrepreneurship you are opting for, you should look for how your business can be taken to the e-commerce platforms. Because today we are buying day-to-day stuff on e-commerce websites. So when we are building up a new business, we should always have that vision how I can take my business to the e-commerce platform. Second are this innovation stuff, where we talk about we are developing something which doesn't exist in the market. So there is no risk of competition in this business, because if you are coming out with something which is novel, then you don't have competition existing in the market. But then with the innovation, the challenge is at the research level. The methodology that you follow to validate your idea, like you have an idea of developing certain solution for a market, but then you have to evaluate everything, like what would be the cost involved in development, what would be the time frame, what would be the go-to market strategy, which are the technologies against which you are going to compete. Although it could be an innovation, but then it is competing with something which is existing. So what markets you are going to go? So there is a lot of background work in terms of planning which is required when you are looking for innovation. So before start, I just had a visit in Bangalore in month of May. So I was trying to explore some companies who are into biotech supply. So they are basically scientists from some research institutes, and because government started this BIRAC grant, and then they said that all the kits for biotechnology are imported from US and Europe, why not start our own lab? So 2-3 people came together, they started their lab in the innovation center, and I went and met them to just get a feedback how are things happening. So they got 50 lakhs for 18 months from BIRAC. They developed an enzyme for these RT-PCR kits and all, and there are many other reagents which they developed. So I don't know what is the go-to market plan. So I went because we are a marketing company. So if they are an innovator, we can do marketing for them. So I wanted to have a collaboration with them. So they said that we developed it with the vision that there are so many diagnostic companies which are coming up, and we will supply the products in bulk. So we knew there are a handful of companies and we will directly supply. So then I said, then what's happening? So the feedback came after developing the product, we came to know our enzyme is costing us 1.27 rupees per unit. And these manufacturers are getting it imported from China and Korea, and the price per unit is 35 paise. So this is a massive failure. Like 2 years, you have invested in research, developed a product which is performing also, but then you are not price competitive. So when you are looking for something innovative or something which you feel that I would be a competition to international brands, you need to really work more on the planning side. Execution is very easy. Even on our lab side, if we have a project in lab, I ask my lab team, you spend 8 days for doing the planning. Execution can happen in 2 days. Third is large companies or series of
So what happened? Could they reduce the
they cannot afford because their cost of development is such high.
Yeah. So have they closed down or like they
So after that, government is not going to fund them. They have given them 50 lakhs.
Right.
Now 50 lakhs is used up. Nothing. Product has come out, but it is not price competitive. So that is also important. Then there are large companies which we call corporates, and then the new area of entrepreneurship is coming in the social side. So there are so many startups which are coming on the social side, maybe on the environment side, maybe on health side also, NGOs are there. So these are social enterprises. They want to build business not for profit. So they just want to build a business to serve the community, and they get their revenues as working directors and all. But then that enterprise does not become their what we say, like the company that I started belongs to me. That NGO will never belong to them, because whatever funding has come from public. Once you retire, you have to hand it over to somebody. So why entrepreneurship is important? One way of looking at a huge population is we have a huge manpower or the human resource available with us. But on the other side of the table, we also need to look into, okay, are there job opportunities available for so many people? And if opportunities are there, then where students should be focusing on for getting those opportunities. So this is a presentation on entrepreneurship, but when I give you a presentation maybe for the job opportunity, I always say that when students look for opportunities, they will look for top 20 pharma companies. So for top 20, will give you how many jobs. So for biotech students, when they look for Enzene, Genova and your Serum. Annually they hire not more than 150 students. And Pune we have at least 700 biotech students passing out every year. Pune itself. And people are not just from Pune applying for Serum. So people apply from all over the country. Same with the Biocon, they may take 1200 intake in a year. But for that, people competing are 500. So the search will also determine where you land up. And then majority of students who come to us for interview, they say, "Sir, 15 जगह पे डाला है, कहीं पे response भी नहीं देते." So nobody bothers to reply to our mails. Whether even if there is no vacancy, they should say we don't have a vacancy. But then nobody replies. But that happens now if you are getting for 40,000 mails every day, it goes in junk. So if everybody is focusing on only top 20, but if you talk about startup ecosystem, last year we had 4,500 new companies registered in India. But we don't know about those companies, and no company, as in the beginning of the talk I told you, no company can start with a sole entrepreneur. So I might have certain skills which are there with me, but I am dependent on accounts people, I am dependent on people who are good at finance, who are good at law. So I need an ecosystem to run an enterprise. So opportunities are there. So we are not looking at those 4,500 new startups, and that are coming every year. So, and that is currently, if you look into the GDP of, I don't know how you follow budgets or not, but if you look at the GDP of the country, you will find that 58% of the jobs are coming from this MSME. So micro and small segment companies which are not doing more than 100 crore. So, and they are driving almost 50% of the GDP. So, and again 58% of the jobs are provided by them. So these are the statistics which we need to know when we are looking for a job or for the entrepreneurship. So we need to have new products and services, innovation happening in the country. So that is also one of the reasons why new entrepreneurship is required. And it gives job opportunities to many. So when you are looking for a job, you are looking for opportunity for yourself. When you are looking to be an entrepreneur, you are opening up opportunity for 5 years like you. Also, if you are looking for certain innovative products which are made in India, so you are competing with some international brands. Because of monopoly, they are charging very high to the consumers. So entrepreneurship is also good for end customers because it brings a lot of competition and competitiveness in the price. Now I would like to drive your attention towards this slide. side. This is a practical scenario of enterprise today. So, if you talk about traditional days, what people were doing is, I started a business to earn money. So, to make profit, that was the only intent of any business. Over a period of time, the enterprises changed their thought process and they started doing some CSR activities. They started focusing on the environment side also. Earlier, there was no, a chemical industry will focus on how much chemical I can produce and how much profit I can earn. So they were never bothered about what is happening to the environment and what is my contribution to the society. So he is manufacturing pesticides, making money without bothering about what is happening. But in last 2 decades, we have seen this change that most of the organizations, they are focused on the environment side also. At the same time, they do lot of CSR activities also. So that was the second generation of entrepreneurship. But if you see last 5 to 10 years, so you have startups which talk a different language. Like when we started business, we used to say, what would I earn? Now the new startups are saying, what would I burn? So they want to burn money like anything. So when Swiggy started, first year business plan said we want to do a 350 crore loss. So which hotel will give you 40% discount? So they had to put them from their pockets. But they wanted to convert the customer. Once they converted the customer, then they started charging the customer as well as the service provider. So that became a business model. You talk about Reliance. So they started with Jio as a free service for 1 year. Then they had 10 crore subscription. Even if they charge 100 rupees per subscription, now it is 100 into 10 crores. So within 1 month, they have recovered whatever they have spent in 1 year. So this kind of disruptive entrepreneurship is coming. So yes, everybody cannot think like Jio because we are not that financially sound. We can stand up to loss of 350 crores and start a business. But this is how the new business ideas are coming up. But if you look at from the other point of view, don't look at from the financial point of view, because if you look at the financials, it worries you and then you feel it is better not to get into entrepreneurship. So don't look from the financial side, look from the side of how the thought process is going. So if you talk about any startup, whether it is Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Jio, so everybody has identified some pain areas of the customers, and then even if you talk about the 1mg in the pharmaceutical sector, or so what they have identified that end customer is not getting the benefit. Although pharma industry works at a very high profit, but then the patients are not getting the benefit. They said if we are able to address this issue, we can have a big business. So and now there are so many people who are going. So there is a first mover advantage, obviously, and then there are many people who will fall in the industry. But they have created a new industry of online pharmacy. So I feel if you are thinking on the entrepreneurship side, you should take this as a thought process. Okay, let me identify what challenge I am going to address by coming in business. So that becomes your purpose for existence. And if the purpose is very clear, then you find how to do it, what to do, who will do it, all the questions will be answered. But first important question is why I would like to be in this business and what is the problem that I am going to address by being in this business. Now this is about the career options. So there is a list, and I don't feel entrepreneurship is about like I am a pharmaceutical graduate, so I am doing something which is not at all relevant to whatever I have done. Or I have an engineer friend who is an Amazon distributor, nothing to do with engineering. So entrepreneurship is not about what basic qualification you have, and you need to stick to that qualification and do start an enterprise. So it is about your risk-taking ability, your passion, your drive. Like what is your vision? So these are few things, and what motivates you to work. Because what happens is, even in our business, like biotechnology, sales and marketing, we have seen there are every year there are 5 to 6 new startups. So they are competing with us. After 2 years, 70% of them will vanish because the motivation is lost. And second thing is they don't have that endurance. Because if you don't have a long-term vision, then you get depressed by short-term losses or short-term failures. So I don't want to get through this, but yes, when we think of starting a business, I feel it starts with an idea. Then it's not just an idea, you need to validate on certain questions. Like first is, what is the financial feasibility of that idea? How long you would have to sustain to become a profitable organization? So whenever you think of starting a business, you should have a mindset of getting a break even within 3 years. So if you are thinking that from first month I have to get my salaries, then it is better to do a job. So entrepreneurship is not for those who can think from first month or maybe in first 6 months I should be a profitable organization. Even if you are starting small, I am not talking about big organizations, but small organizations, because you may earn profits which you will have to reinvest in business. You will have to reinvest in people. You will have to reinvest in market research. You will have to reinvest in advertisement. So you earn and you invest in your business. So you don't get it in your pocket. So after I quit my job, for first year, every month I used to see in my balance sheet, Acha, I have earned 2 lakh rupees, but in my account there will not be 10,000 rupees. Because if I withdraw that money, in the magnitude, the salary I was drawing, so I was working at a 8.5 lakh package. If I start withdrawing that from my business, maybe in 1 year my business will not have the capital that is required to survive. So it is very important to have a sustenance plan. How long can I sustain? This is one question. Then the other question is, who are my competitors? So at ideation stage only you should be validating which market I am going, who will be my competition, what is the time frame I would be able to sustain to get profits, okay, and whether it will be financially feasible for me to pursue that idea. After that, second is research. So research is related to market, related to legal, because every business has its own legal boundaries. Like our pharma and healthcare is very much regulated business. So we need lot of certifications, lot of documentary requirements. So what all things would my business be demanding? So that research has to be done before you start your business. After this research is done, then you can register your business. You have to start your finance plan, you have to bring in finance, and then you go to market. So 80% of your efforts will go in that market research and ideation stage. And don't worry about once the ideation and the research is done, the rest of things can be obtained in 25,000. So you hire a CA, tell him I want all these documents, pay him 25,000, you will get all the company registered in 8 days. So don't bother about the other 3 steps. The first 2 steps are the one which an entrepreneur has to do himself, that he cannot outsource. So I have just listed down in step. I will share this. But these are some characteristics I feel you should be having, and you should be evaluate before you evaluate your idea. You should evaluate yourself on these parameters. Okay, do I have that vision? Am I able to look beyond what people are doing traditionally? So that is one. Second, passionate. So I feel when you have an idea, you should be mad about it. So whatever people say, like I remember when I quit my job from Pfizer, I and moved to life science. My family people were also upset with me. Hey, इतना अच्छा job को छोड़ दे. You are working with the number one pharmaceutical and you want to quit the job and move to an industry which you do not know. So from there I moved to Millipore, which was a life science industry. From life science, at a position as a regional manager, I quit and I came back to zero and started my business. So that risk-taking ability, every time coming back to zero, going to a new domain which you do not know. So getting into discomfort, taking risk, so that is a prime quality of an entrepreneur. So if you cannot go out of your comfort zone, then you cannot be an entrepreneur. So you should be passionate about your ideas. So what happens is once you get into some kind of business, the people who do not know about your industry, they feel that you are in business because you want money. And there are people in your industry, they will feel, hey, क्यों आया यहाँ पे? Already इधर बहुत पहले ये overcrowded था, अभी तू नया आ गया. So there is a lot of competition. They will try to demotivate you who are your competitors. But I feel if the vision is clear and if you are passionate about your vision, it doesn't make any difference to you what competition is or what people say. So this one quality is very important to stay positive, because when you are working for somebody, whether the business is in profit or loss, the business might see ups and downs, but your salary is fixed. If you feel that the organization is not performing, you can leave the organization, join some performing organization. That is the option available when you are working as a professional for some organization. But when you start your own organization, you don't have that choice to quit and go somewhere. Curiosity. So as I was explaining our journey, I told you, you should be always, even if you are in a market. So we have established that we were already doing 5-6 crores worth of business, but then still I was always in hunt of where are the challenges. So challenges है कि students को job नहीं मिल रहा है. Challenges है कि I am not getting good students. So what do? Let me start training. So it costed me 1 crore worth of lab. But then it's a risk. Doing a 5 crore or 6 crore turnover, investing 1 crore in a lab is madness. You don't know when you will recover. Till date you have not recovered because 2 years have gone in COVID. So there was no work happening in the lab. So still we have not been able to recover what we have invested in the lab. And this year we have invested again by putting up a new machine of 60 lakhs. So this is what a risk-taking capability what is required to be sustainable. Because if I decide I would like to work with the technologies of 5 years back, I will not be able to grow or sustain in this business. So whatever new comes, I have to upgrade myself. So this is something which is required in business. Then you need a lot of organization and management skills, confidence and self-belief. That is very important. And then you should be highly optimistic. So whatever the situation, whatever the people around you say, you should always remain positive. Because here, when you are an entrepreneur, the responsibility of keeping the team motivated is yours. So you cannot be pessimistic. You have to be optimistic even in the worst of the conditions. Then there are certain soft skills which are required, but these soft skills are required anyways, even if you want to do a job or if you want to be in business. And when you talk about opportunities, there are so many. I have just listed down what are in the biology segment because I don't want to restrict your thoughts to only pharmacy as a domain. Consider ourselves as a life science industry people, and then we have an exposure to start the bioentrepreneurship in any of the directions, whether it is agri-biotech, whether it is healthcare segment, whether it is we are talking about renewable energies, which is also a biological process where so many companies are coming in these areas, and those are the areas which are addressing social challenges also. So we should be looking forward to build up an enterprise which is the demand of future and not of today. That's it from my side.
Is there any questions on the students? course also is very interesting.
So, we have our lab by name Institute of Applied Biological and Research. The idea behind the lab is to train students who are willing to pursue their PhDs or who are looking out for job opportunities in the biopharma sector, either in the QC or the R&D side. So we have a dedicated cell culture lab where we do animal cell culture. We have technologies like real-time PCR where we can do gene expression studies, and then we have flow cytometer, which is for studying biomarkers at the cellular level. And recently we acquired a machine by name Luminex. So Luminex is basically we call as cytokine, we call it bead array system. So there are certain beads on which you tag your antibodies, and in small samples of 25 microliters you can analyze up to 80 or 100 analytes, different analytes you can do. So we offer different kinds of training based on, there are certain students like if he is planning to join some company where he needs training on the cell culture side. So before he joins that, he wants to get hands-on training. So we have some 1 month trainings. We have certain trainings which are for 3 months, so which covers the entire workflow. And then we have internship programs also. So internships are for 6 months. So where we work on a project. It is not just a technique training. We design a project and then right from cell culture to molecular to immunology, the student gets an exposure to work on every side. Those kind of courses are there. So you can go through the details on our websites. But there, that is not our business model as such, because in a year we intend not to train more than 50 students. So for the monthly courses we take only 2 students. For the quarterly courses we take 2 students. So 8 students in a year for the quarterly courses, and 2 students for internship for every 6 months. So 4 students on internship, not more than that. Because the idea is not, see, there are so many students who are coming and asking us whether you have a certification course on cell culture, certification of flow cytometry. So our idea is if you want certification, there are so many courses nowadays on Udemy, on academy. So you get certificates there. If you want an experience, then come to us. During the first wave of COVID, since it was a novel virus, there was nothing known about it. So, and most of the distribution channels, everything was disrupted. So, we have been working with NIV since the days of, like, when you had avian flu, when you had swine flu. So, we have worked on those projects. So, when COVID came in, so ICMR and NIV started directly interacting with us to arrange for certain materials. So we organized all the enzymes, the primer probes. So we designed all those products for them, which was specific to COVID. Once those products got approved, then many, the first wave it was government wanted to have a control because they don't want to commercialize the activity. They said we will put a lockdown, restrict the spread of the pandemic, and if we are able to restrict and consolidate in a small number, then probably we may not have to privatize it. They tried their best, but then finally the outbreak happened as a pandemic, and then they had to license other companies. So other kits came on the guidelines of what NIV was doing. But for the first wave, we did around 7 lakh tests with NIV.
Earlier you mentioned that you had 10 years of experience in marketing and also for entrepreneurship. So how much does an MBA help you to get there? Does it speed up your thinking?
So it's a tricky question because I don't believe if you are looking for an entrepreneurship, just going for some kind of specialization doesn't help. I did not do my MBA just because others were doing. or because I thought it will create some job opportunities, I first went with my gut feeling that I am a technical person, let me go and join production. But when I saw the work profile there, I did not like the profile. I was in tablet department, so every 20 minutes a machine will be get the tablets, hardness check करो, viability करो, वो मशीन का टेस्टिंग होता था तो दूसरा मशीन बीट कर रहा है. So पूरे दिन आप कोई हिसाब किताब कर रहे हो. So I said this is not the reason for which I did pharmacy. So I said that 12th science student can also do this job. Why I am wasting my career? So I moved out and I went to sales. Sales was something where I felt yes, whatever knowledge I have, I can impart to clinicians, and it felt me. And working with Pfizer, the advantage was you are a drug discovery company. You are not a generic company. So you have lot of studies happening worldwide, and then you have lot to share with doctors. So it was more of a technical assignment with Pfizer. So I enjoyed that tenure. But working with Pfizer, I realized that when you want to be in sales, you need to sharpen certain skills like communication, your public speaking, and all those. So I felt that for that I should do something which will enhance my skills in the area of my interest. So I chose MBA Sales and Marketing after I decided to be in sales. So I really do not advocate after just doing your, if you are pursuing your masters in the same field, just to have a specialization, it is still okay. But then if you are changing all the way the track towards management, then I feel if you are looking at I want to be a manager in the administration side, or I am looking to be a manager in production, so then you should do operational management. But doing an operation management and you do not, it's a generic, it is not for one specific industry, it is a generalized course. So how much of it will fit in your industry you do not know, what to take that also you do not know. So I feel if you want to work in production, you first join somewhere in production, work for 1 year. If you like that job, join MBA and take operations management. Or if you work in sales and marketing, if you like that, if you don't like it, why do you want to do an MBA in that domain?
And there are these students, who come to me whether they should take up a job and then do MBA. Will that be advantageous, or directly jump into MBA after BPharm? So they want to go directly into management.
It is better to do a job and evaluate your. See what happens, as I told you, I was very much interested in an industrial job. But when I worked there, I realized that is not for me. So I feel before joining any MBA, it is better to work, have an experience. Suppose if I don't like a production job, I quit, I moved in sales. Even if I don't like sales, then what do I do? So definitely, so first year you can explore, 6 months you can work with different setups, and once you identify, this is what my passion, or this is the job which I love. Because if you want to be in a particular domain, if you want to build up a career in a particular domain, you should have some inclination and love towards that job. Otherwise, you cannot sustain.
Thank you so much, sir, for the amazing session and your valuable inputs. Thank you once again for clearing all our doubts. I now take the privilege to propose a vote of thanks to acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard for this event. I would like to thank Principal R.V. Patil, sir, staff, SCOP, for organizing today's session. I thank the guest speaker, Praveen Sharma, sir, who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace the occasion. I would also like to thank Professor M.N. Navle, sir, Dr. Mrs. Sunanda M. Navle, ma'am, Rohit Navle, sir, and Rachna Navle Ashlekar, ma'am, Srinagar Institute. With sirs and ma'am's permission, I would like to conclude today's session. Thank you.